And we should be live. If you can hear me, clap once. Hey guys, it's your favorite internet cow here, and I am here joined by my trusty steed, Trunks. Hey Trunks, how are you? Good boy. All right, so we're gonna get into some crypto news today, while Trunks tries to figure out life over here sitting on this chair. I love you, puppy. Thanks for doing this with me. Appreciate it. Treats later for sure. So just wanted to, I guess, go over my weekend a little bit because I had posted on my Twitter that I did a modeling shoot, which actually went very well. I'm glad I did it. I don't know if it's something that I want to explore any further, but it's definitely something that piqued my interest. Aside from that, I went to a meetup yesterday and I was teaching, people, it was a networking event, general networking event, and people were like, what do you do? So, of course, cryptocurrency was my first answer, and have you heard of Bitcoin was the second. And I think I onboarded two people who got interested into crypto, told them to, they had Cash App. Of course, I'm here in the US, so everyone has Cash App basically, or Venmo. And they got onboarded, super excited. I just love spreading like the knowledge and awareness about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And I realized that that's probably the easiest onboard. So that was my day yesterday. Had some fun. But anyways, let's get into some news. Right, Bubby? Let's get into some news. You have anything to say to the people? No. Okay. All right. So something that I saw interesting, besides the price of Bitcoin going up, what was it, $1,500 basically the day before yesterday, was that in Washington, Cuba Western Union is no longer allowed to operate in Cuba, which kind of puts digging the animal suits. Thank you. Thank you for digging the animal suits. It kind of puts Cubans in a kind of rough spot, and it kind of makes them get one step closer to cryptocurrency. I'm gonna share my screen for that story real quick, but yeah, over, I don't know when it was, but it was recently, where Washington no longer allows, no thanks, Cubans to use Western Union, and that's because they're what was it? Finchimex, which was a military-run firm, processed payments in Cuba. So they were the payment processor in Cuba, and they were blacklisted in Washington, which means 400 Western Union locations in Cuba will be closed. Of course, there's other methods of sending money, and we have other companies, but this kind of creates an inconvenience for a lot of people who are used to using Western Union, and it kind of pushes Cubans to look into other options. Dash is very popular in South America. Will it spread to the Caribbean? Will it spread to other places? Who knows? But this is actually pretty exciting news. If anybody wants to do some advocacy out in Cuba, I don't know where you're located in the world, now would be a great time, because they are facing some interesting, things here. Cubans, between the embargo and Cuba being very restrained and having, a communist regime, they face a lot of economic backlash, and this is kind of just one more thing to add on to that. Especially me living in Miami, there's a lot of Cubans here, and they always send money back, and a lot of them do use Western Union or other payment services, but Bitcoin ATMs and other Bitcoin services to send money have been growing in my area, and it's apparent. And I just hope that we kind of begin to help the Cuban economic system. All right. Cuban Dash partnership soon. Yeah, I see it. I see Cuban and Dash partnership soon for sure. That's something that I see in the near future. Hopefully we get some stuff there. Trunks, are you getting tired of me, boy? You want some scratches? Give me some scratches. Yeah, baby. This is the love of my life, guys. I love this dog. I'd do anything for this dog. All right. So Binance also had filed a lawsuit against Forbes and two cryptocurrency journalists. I'm going to throw that article up right here. That's kind of funny. I don't know what they said about Binance, that, Binance is like, F you guys, I'm suing you. So I thought that was pretty funny. I was also listening to Pierre McCormick this morning. I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a second, regarding institutional investments and stuff like that. I've been talking a lot about that recently on Twitter and whatnot, but I'm going to throw this article up here regarding the lawsuit with Binance. Trunks, you're not facing the camera, bro. Face the camera. All right. So Yes, puppy. Yes, puppy. All right. So, cryptocurrency exchange alleges millions of dollars in losses as a suit as a result of what is described as false and misleading articles. All right. So, who wrote shit about Binance? So obviously Forbes is one of them, Forbes Media, and two of its journalists. Okay, so it was just Forbes and two of its journalists. That okay. So I'm assuming, and you know what? I'm gonna say this right now. Yes. What do you want? Scratches? I'm gonna say this right now. Forbes comes from a news perspective that's more traditional finance, and I've read articles on Forbes, and I guess their blockchain Forbes series that they got going on their website, which they charge for, by the way. The articles are okay, it's okay. It's like people who the way I read it's like literally people who went from Forex and said, all right, let me translate Forex to crypto, in a sense. That's how I feel sometimes when I read articles from Forbes, the way it's kind of like written out. And I'm not saying that, people who write these articles aren't knowledgeable or even seasoned in the space, because there are a lot of writers and contributors that I've met who do contribute to Ford who are seasonal crypto people. But sometimes articles can be misleading, so I'm actually not surprised that this happened. But let's read a little bit into why I guess Binance is claiming that they're losing millions of dollars due to slender, essentially. So under the title "Leaked Tai Chi document reveals Binance's elaborate scheme to invade Bitcoin regulators as defamatory." Okay, so Binance is demanding both compensatory. Blah, blah, blah. I can't speak today, guys. I'm tired. Basically, they're providing compensation and punitive damages. So I guess Forbes wrote this article on October 29th, and it details a scheme designed to intentionally deceive regulators in the United States. According to Forbes, the document is described as a plan to funnel revenue from the U.S. entity back to Binance while insulating the company from U.S. enforcement. So this is interesting. This is interesting because Binance recently announced that they were revoking access for anyone within the United States for Binance.com. I have been able to use my Binance account up until recently. So I actually think that's pretty interesting. As of, I think, 80 days from today, Binance.com will no longer work in the US. And yes, Bobby, you want to hold my hand? Binance US will no longer work in the US. They had announced that, and prior to potentially this article, maybe that's what pushed them to, I guess, officially take it off the radar. Because I mean, Binance US opened up, but that didn't mean Binance.com didn't work. Like, I didn't need a VPN to use Binance.com. Like when I signed up for Binance, I don't remember if I did KYC or not. It was a long time ago, but I didn't use a VPN ever. And up until yesterday, when I logged in to go, trade some stuff, I didn't need it either. So I don't know. Interesting stuff there. Perhaps because of this article and because it was written, Binance is now taking action to officially take Binance.com off US's radar. Of course, you can use a VPN. We all know this, but I didn't need a VPN to log into Binance US or Binance.com, and it didn't give me an error. So just thought that this is a little interesting. There might be a connection there as to what actually happened. So let's see what happens. Apparently, in the past, I don't remember CZ doing this, but he had threatened to sue the block, which is also another cryptocurrency outlet. I actually don't know when he did that, but interesting stuff. That things are making sense. All right, so I'm gonna read some of the comments because I see you guys are kind of chatting away. What's my dog's name? My dog's name is Trunks. His name is Trunks. My little baby. I'm a Dragon Ball Z fan, so kind of went with that. Against Binance, he needs more money. potentially, but also, like I said, prior to potentially that article, because Binance announced like a week ago, around like less than when they filed this. If they filed this suit, let's say the story's from the 18th, so that's from yesterday. They probably filed the suit recently, but if the article was written on the 29th and just last week Binance is saying, oh, actually we're revoking all access from Binance.com to the US, which they didn't do before, and they opened up Binance US, You know, like there's a lot of there. So, interesting stuff. All right. Oh, Trunks, sorry, I am hard of reading sometimes. Oh, yes, I just literally answered that question. Your dog said you should date me. My dog said I should date you. Okay. Trunks, do you I don't think he knows what you're talking about. I don't think he knows what you're talking about. It's okay. Use a VPN, not in the USA. Yeah, I use a VPN. Cow, yes, I'm internet cow, guys. And people forget that you are technically not in the US. You are online. Yes, you are online, and that's loopholes of being on the internet. These are I don't know. These are trying times. You have to be careful because even though there are VPNs and stuff like obviously as someone who's a regular Joe Schmo, I don't have anything to hide, and government's not necessarily looking at me. But for other people, might not be too savvy if you are being watched by like the SEC or stuff like that. That's where VPNs kind of come tricky because then they launch a federal investigation into you and you end up like Ross. So they will find you. But yeah, like obviously like for regular people like you guys, you just use a VPN, stay anonymous online. Nothing wrong with that. All right. So let's see. Let's get into some other news here. I haven't really looked to see what all is going on. I'm not going to lie. Something that I did hear this morning on a podcast with Peter McCormick is he was talking to some institutional investors as to why Bitcoin is one of the biggest assets of 2020 going into 2022. I will mention that I was also reading an article from Cointelegraph, and it was talking about how they did a survey with a hedge fund. It was like 2 or 3 hedge funds, and they were millionaires, they were wealthy people who could actually invest, and about 75 to 80% of them were saying that they either already own crypto assets or are interested in owning crypto assets by the year 2022, which is kind of very bullish, and it's not like people who already weren't into crypto and were in the investment game didn't already look at Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as a investment mechanism. It's up from 67%. That's 3/4 up to basically 4/5 of the equation. So that's actually really good. I'm glad that more and more people are kind of awakening to the movement here. So I'm super happy that we are up 15%. 15% more millionaires want to invest into cryptocurrency. That makes me happy. And especially because all this growth recently is institutional growth, guys. This growth is not mainstream growth. This growth is from, people like Fidelity, MicroStrategies, PayPal. These are people who don't need to go online and Google a bunch of shit. And you can see that from Google Trends. If you didn't know, I'll show you how to look up. Yes, Trunks. He does not want me to stop scratching him. I'll show you how to look up Google Trends, and this is a very good indicator when you guys are reading charts. I'll kind of throw up my screen here real quick, but just Google Trends Bitcoin. Poopy. He's like, don't stop scratching me. Okay, so past 12 months. Here we see that there has been like a little bit of a hike, but even in March of this year, like there's just as much people looking into Bitcoin as there are now, like mainstream, just regular Joe Schmoes. Now if we blow up this chart and we look at 5 years, look at that 2017 mark. This is when that last real bull run happened. This mark right here. So look at where we are all the way down here. We haven't even hit a peak of interest as to when Corona was starting to happen, and there was a lot of economic uncertainty, which is actually when Bitcoin, went from 3,000 to 7,000, and then 10,000, and so on and so forth, up to where we are today. I don't know if we're at 17 or 18 now. I didn't check the price this morning. I kind of just go on Twitter and figure it out. I don't look at my wallet, guys. I just kind of hold. But yeah, so we don't even have anywhere near the interest that we did 4 years ago. So all this growth, purely institutional, purely from people who are interested in doing, hedge fund investments and incorporating into their platforms. When we do get to this peak right here of actual mainstream people looking into cryptocurrency and looking into Bitcoin, you can only imagine, so things to keep in mind. Your dog is looking for some tequila. Yes, he is looking for tequila. He is thirsty. Are you thirsty, Trunks? You oh God. The market is cowish. Yeah, it is cowish. And I'll say this because I'll pull up an article that I was reading earlier regarding a lot of hedge funds and investors that are everything's been going up really fast, right? And although we've had a lot of like new money come in, there is that possibility of a pullback because the market has been going up so fast. So potential either consolidation or potential pullback. I have seen calls for people saying that if Bitcoin goes below the 7.8 and 7.4 resistance line, we might see a pullback down to 16, but nothing major, nothing crazy that couldn't be recovered literally within a day. Bitcoin went up $1,500 within a day 2 days ago. So just like consolidation. If I was to be trading, I would go from BTC to USDT or USDC, wherever I'm trading, and kind of just jump back in. I wouldn't be out of the market for very long because right now is a crucial time. Altcoin season is around the corner. A lot of things going on. So yeah, those were probably the bits and pieces of news that I kind of found interesting for the day. I'm gonna go get Trunks some tequila. Want some tequila? Yeah. Can I have a paw? Good boy. Good boy. Can you say goodbye to the people? You have any last words, Trunks? All right, and those were words from Trunks. All right, guys, so I'm going to get out of here. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Remember to be just mindful of everything around you. Be mindful when trading, be mindful when hodling, be mindful when accumulating, and be mindful when you're spreading words and information out into the world. Other than that, thank you guys for tuning in to this live stream. I'm Annalise, the Internet Cow, and I am signing off.